नमः विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामी इति नामिने नमः विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामी इति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशकारिणे नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृन्द हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jai Radha Gopinath, Radha Gopinath Radhe. Jai Radha Gopinath, Radha Gopinath Radhe. Jai Gaurani Jai, Gaurani Jai, Gaurani Jai, Jai Gaurani Jai, Jai Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. हरिनाम संकीर्तन की जय, गौर निताय की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. Hare Krishna. Firstly, thank you everybody for joining on this Sunday of Purushottam Mass. The last 2 days of Purushottam Mass are remaining. Last 2 days में वो भी आधा दिन चला गया, 1.5 दिन बचता है. So let us make the best use of what we have in hand. So, of course, for a sincere devotee, every day, any day can be a transcendental day. The day we come in touch with devotees, the day we come in touch with the deities, the day we read Bhagavatam, you are in constant touch with any of the 5 principal factors given by Rupa Goswami. So, as such, it becomes uh, auspicious. But it is 1,000 times more auspicious in this month. So we must do more. So, of course, there are many stories and many uh, devotees who have glorified. One of the uh, uh, before we start our discussion of Upadeshaamrit, a small the story of Bilomangal Thakur. Why the story of Bilomangal Thakur is important is generally in many ISKCON temples during Purushottam Mass, ये चोराष्टकम गाते हैं. I don't know how many of you have heard of Chaurashtakam. It's a beautiful Ashtakam which is composed by Bilomangal Thakur, and it glorifies, the Ashtakam glorifies Krishna as can't hear,
as a thief,
as a
Choragram,
thief.
Choragaganyam,
Yeah,
the foremost thief.
Vraje Prasidam. So, why does Bilomangal Thakur uh, sing this? And when you uh, initially it may seem कि क्या है चोर का अष्टकम क्या होता है. For a commoner, for an outsider, it will be कि क्या चोर अष्टकम चोर का but that is the glory of Krishna, that whatever he does is transcendentally beautiful. और जब चुराते भी हैं तो that is transcendentally beautiful. और चुराते क्या है, that is also glorious. So the story of Bilu Mangal Thakur is, I'll put it in brief so that we go to our discussion. Bilu Mangal Thakur, in his previous birth, was a very great Brahman, a great devotee, and uh, um, uh, for some reason, he was actually a great sannyasi, and for some reason, uh, he has to steal uh, uh, the gold of a princess who's dead. और वो and he steals this as a sannyasi. He is doing this only to feed devotees. तो uh, वो ये ऐसा करते हैं. डिटेल्स बहुत हैं, मतलब he was a great sannyasi and he wanted to feed devotees. तो वो ऐसा इधर उधर से पैसा मांग मांग के जितना पैसा मिलता था उससे भक्तों को खिलाते थे. फिर एक उस राज्य में फिर ऐसा हुआ कि कोई दान देने कम कर दिए, बंद कर दिए. फिर वहाँ की जो द प्रिंसेस ऑफ दैट लैंड, she meets with a sudden death and she's buried. And when she's buried with all her gold. So when he comes to know, he says, what is the use of all the gold on her burial ground? So he goes there to steal the gold. तो ये प्रिंसेस की जो आत्मा है वो अभी भी वो गोल्ड में अटकी है. तो प्रिंसेस बोलती है कि आप मेरा ये सोना मत लीजिए, आप राजा के पास जाइए और राजा को बोलिए कि अ, मेरे कमरे में ऐसी ऐसी जगह पे बहुत सारा सोना है, वो सारा सोना आप ले जाइए. सो ही गोज टू द किंग एंड ही टेल्स द किंग कि प्रिंसेस की रूह ने, द आत्मा हैज टोल्ड मी लाइक दिस. द किंग डजंट बिलीव हिम एंड ही सेज, if it is true all this gold is yours, if it is false then I'll hang you because you went to steal the gold of what was kept for my daughter. So when the king searches the place, the exact at that very place, a lot of gold is there. वो gold इनको दे देते हैं. And so he's a great sannyasi. So he takes all that gold and starts feeding all the Vaishnavas. But gold है खत्म हो गया. अब खत्म होने के बाद क्या? So again he goes back to the same burial ground and tries to steal. So when this happens, the prince, the soul, the atma of this princess gets very disturbed and curses him that in your next life you will be very attached to woman and gold. ऐसा करके कर्स दे देते हैं. And this great devotee then takes birth as a young businessman, and then he gets attracted to this Vaishya named Chintamani. And the story goes as he is so attached to this prostitute that he is ready to do anything to meet her. So one day it is raining very heavily, and that night he says, somehow I have to meet Chintamani. And so he crosses the river. Somehow there are no boats, nothing, but somehow he crosses the river. Then he comes to the house and he sees that the doors and all are locked because of the heavy rain, and only a window is open. So somehow he climbs the tree and then he enters the house. And when he enters the house, he sees that this Chintamani is completely surprised, flabbergasted. And she is seeing him doing all this. And she says that, you know how you crossed the river? There was a dead body floating on the river. Took you took support of that dead body and then you crossed the river. And when you were climbing the tree, whatever you were holding to as the branches and ropes on the tree was not branches and ropes, it was actually a huge python. That snake could have swallowed you entirely, but you were totally oblivious. And then she makes a very beautiful statement. She says, the amount of attachment you have for me, a fraction of that, if you have for the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna, your life will become perfect. A fraction of that, if you have for Lord Krishna, your life will become perfect. When he hears that, like lightning strikes somebody, it was like lightning striking his intelligence. And he just changes his mind and starts running towards Vrindavan. Because in past life, he was actually a great sannyasi, great devotee of Lord Krishna. So as he's going towards Vrindavan, uh, it's one day full he is walking, and next evening he's tired. So he goes, he takes shelter of some house, and it's the house of a Brahman. So उधर जाके वो ब्राह्मण बोलते हैं आप रुक जाओ इधर, इट्स ओके। तो देखते हैं तो ये ब्राह्मण की जो पत्नी है बहुत सुंदर है, एंड देन ही गेट्स attracted to this lady, and he actually goes and confesses to the Brahman that your wife is very beautiful, I want to have sex with her. So this Brahman is like surprised, ये क्या बोल रहा है? So for a fraction of the moment, the Brahman doesn't know what to do, and then he asks his wife. The wife says that uh, as uh, as a householder, you have to satisfy your Atiti, because Atiti Devo Bhava, and rest Krishna will take care. And they are also devotees of the Lord. So ऐसा बोलने से the Brahman says okay, whatever you wish. ऐसा करके जाते हैं तो then suddenly it again strikes him, what am I doing? So when he comes in front of the Brahman Patni, he asks the Brahman Patni, आपके बालों में पिन है, वो पिन दे दो. The Brahman Patni for a minute says, पिन का क्या करना है? जैसे okay, take the pin. जैसे ही पिन हाथ में आता है, तो with two pins he just punches his eyes. ऐसे सीधा पिन लेके सीधा आंख में डाल देते हैं. And before the Brahman Patni and the Brahman could do anything, he was already blinded. And in that blind state, then he again goes towards Vrindavan. And this is centuries ago. Vrindavan is a complete forest. So when he reaches Vrindavan, it is a complete forest. There is nobody. For many days, he's just looking for water, this, that. खाने को कुछ नहीं, पीने को कुछ नहीं. And finally, when he is like dead tired, does not know what to do, भीख भी मांगने का, कुछ से मांगने का मालूम नहीं, कुछ दिखता तो है नहीं. So then a small boy comes and he says, in my village, nobody goes hungry. So my mother sent this glass of milk for you. So then he drank the milk and then went off to sleep. After many days, he got something to drink. So gaya. And then constantly he would just chant the holy names of the Lord. So every day, this boy would come, give him a glass of milk, and that's how बहुत से महीने निकल गए ऐसे ही. तो ऐसे ही एक बार वृंदावन में जाते जाते ही फॉल्स इनटू अ डिच. और ये डिच इतना डीप है कि कुछ समझ में नहीं आता है कहाँ से कैसे चढ़ने का, क्या कैसे निकलने का. सो ही इज नाउ द ओनली person he knew is this boy who would come and give milk. So he is trying to call out lalla lalla. So then suddenly he feels that उनको एक हाथ आ जाता है, and the same boy says पकड़ लो हाथ. So as for the first time, actually he holds the hand of this boy, and when he holds the hand of this boy for the first time, his body goes into ecstasy. But for the first time he realized कि ये जो लड़का रोज आके मुझे दूध दे रहा है, ये तो और कोई नहीं, ये तो मेरे भगवान है, अ, मेरे पूजनीय, मेरे आराध्य हैं. So this is the time that he composes this Chorashtakam, describing the glory of Krishna as the one who steals. He is not just stealing butter from the houses of the gopis, he is actually stealing the hearts of all his devotees. He is actually stealing all the negativism in the lives of his devotees. He is actually stealing all the past anarthas, all the past sins that are committed by his devotees. He is actually stealing everything that a devotee can offer, and what the devotee cannot offer also he is stealing. In return for what? In return, he is just asking for Shraddha. Just have faith. So this Chaurashtakam is a very beautiful Ashtakam. If we have time, we will sing. अगर time है तो गाएंगे. So this is the story of Bilu Mangal Thakur. It said that Bilu Mangal Thakur lived for many, many years. And Bilu Mangal Thakur के बहुत से प्रसिद्ध many beautiful compositions are there. उसमें से एक ये चौराष्टकम है. And it is said that whatever he would compose, although he was blind, he had visions and he could actually see the pastimes of the Lord being enacted in front of him. So this story of Bilmangal Thakur is also important in sense you must, in our own path of bhakti, we will have many hindrances, many obstacles, and some of these obstacles may seem insurmountable, where you just cannot cross it over. So Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita, Kama esha, Krodha esha, Rajoguno samudbhavan. Arjuna is asking Krishna this very important question that, hey Krishna, that why is it that although intelligent men with their intelligence know that something is wrong, but still perform the same sinful and wrong activities as though they are being pulled by some force, as though they are being pulled by some force. They still commit some these negative sinful activities. The same thing was happening with Bilumangal Thakur. So, how does he express his Shraddha, his determination to achieve Krishna? How does he express his determination? He sees that these eyes are the source for my distraction. So if these eyes cannot be used in serving Krishna, in seeing what is favorable for Krishna, then I don't need these eyes. Let me just remove them. So it is an extreme example, but Krishna at every point is going to test us. And in our own sadhana, these tests will keep happening. Of course, he was Bilu Mangal Thakur. He is a Nitya Siddha devotee. ठीक है ना? वो हम बिलो मंगल ठाकुर नहीं है. हमको पिन लेके आंख फोड़ना नहीं है. लेकिन in our own lives, there will be challenges, and we have to stand upright facing these challenges. And that is what Upadeshaamrit is all about, right? So the first shloka where we defined, what did we define the first shloka? Vacho vegam manasa krodha vegam. What was this shloka defines what?
Qualities of the gurus who can become guru.
Very good. Perfect. Okay. So now answer should come from everybody. Huh? नहीं तो फिर इंटरेस्ट थोड़ा वैसे भी टीचर को थोड़ा रेसिप्रोकेशन भी लगता है. ठीक है. ओके. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप गदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं. वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरुं वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपां साग्रजातां सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितां तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधा कृष्णपादां सहगणा ललितां श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च. हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते. तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. ओके. वन स्मॉल क्वेश्चन. हम ये श्लोक जो पढ़ते हैं श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टम, ये व्हाट डज द मीनिंग ऑफ द श्लोका? एनीबॉडी? क्यों बोलते हैं ये? आप कोई भी क्लास अटेंड करेंगे ना, क्लास से पहले हर कोई ये श्लोक बोलते ही. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ये बोलते हैं, और
Yes.
फिर श्री चैतन्य मनोभीष्टम बोलते हैं. व्हाट इज द मीनिंग?
गुरु को प्रणाम करते, गुरु को प्रणाम करते जिन्होंने अज्ञान के अंधकार से ज्ञान के
करेक्ट.
प्रकाश की तरफ
करेक्ट. ओम अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञान अंजन, ज्ञान के अंजन,
लगा
ज्ञानांजन शलाकया चक्षुरुम मिलितम येन तस्मै श्री गुरुवे. करेक्ट. ज्ञान का अंजन लगा के हमको भक्ति दी है. राइट. गुरु को प्रणाम किया. नेक्स्ट श्लोका का क्या मतलब है?
श्री चैतन्य विश्व
हाँ.
चैतन्य महाप्रभु के जो मन में
गोस्वामी सरेंडर है चैतन्य महाप्रभु को, तो उस टाइप का ग्रेस हमको मिलना चाहिए, ऐसा हम प्रार्थना करते हैं. रूप
ओके.
गोस्वामी सरेंडर है चैतन्य महाप्रभु को, तो उस टाइप मतलब वो ग्रेस हमको मिलना चाहिए, ऐसा हम प्रार्थना करते हैं.
राइट. दिस श्लोका is the pranam mantra of Rupa Goswami. right? Why do we chant the pranam mantra of Rupa Goswami and not other Goswamis?
Because
Swami is disciple of Chaitanya, direct disciple of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
All the 6 Goswamis are direct
हाँ,
disciples of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
and we are Rupanuga.
We are
Rupanuga.
Rupanugas. Correct. So there is a very beautiful story, a very deep, intimate story. Of course, Rath Yatra is coming. So when uh, Rath Yatra was there in Jagannath Puri, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would dance in front of the Rath Yatra. And one year, Rupa Goswami was there, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would chant, and actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu would go into the mood of the gopis. And suddenly Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started chanting some अलग ही श्लोक बोलने लग गए. And externally it sounded as, कोई फिल्मी गाना गाता है ना, हम फिल्मी गाना गाते हैं तो कैसे लगता है, सडनली आप कीर्तन कर रहे हैं और सडनली एक व्यक्ति फिल्मी गाना गा रहा है, तो कैसे लगेगा एकदम, अरे क्या हो गया इसको, फिल्मी गाना क्यों गा रहे हैं. तो ऐसे एक एक प्रेमी प्रेमिका को क्या बोलेंगी, ऐसा गाना गाने लग गए चैतन्य महाप्रभु. एंड ऑल द अदर डिवोटीज डिडंट अंडरस्टैंड, बट चैतन्य महाप्रभु sang एंड द रथ यात्रा में भाग लिए. रूपा गोस्वामी केम बैक, and Rupa Goswami would, where would they stay? Rupa Goswami would stay with Haridas Thakur. Why? Because Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami, they felt that they were unqualified to enter the temple of Lord Jagannath, because they have served the Muslim king. So they felt themselves unqualified. So Rupa Goswami came and Rupa Goswami made some notes. तभी palm leaf होता था ना, palm leaf, तो palm leaf में Rupa Goswami makes notes. और वो notes बना के he folded that palm leaf and kept it on the rooftop of that small thatched hut of uh, Haridas Thakur. Those who have been to Jagannath Puri and have seen the place where Haridas Thakur would chant, है ना, वो जगह देखा है ना, बहुत छोटी सी जगह है, तो उसके ऊपर छोड़ के रूपा गोस्वामी गए. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came there when Rupa Goswami was not there, and he saw that there is a palm leaf. He removes that palm leaf and reads. And when he reads that palm leaf, he is completely surprised. Why? Because वो जो श्लोका जो कुछ चैतन्य महाप्रभु अपने एक्सटेसी में गा रहे थे, किसी को समझ में नहीं आ रहा था. Only Swarup Damodar Goswami was blissful. Apart from him, nobody understood. So Swarup Damodar Goswami को चैतन्य महाप्रभु बोलते हैं, Swarupa, how is it that this young devotee has understood my heart? He has exactly written the meaning of the shloka and the purpose of why I have sung this. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in the mood of Radharani is requesting Krishna, Lord Jagannath, that please, my heart is burning for you. When will you come to unite with me? It is a वैसा बाह्य रूप से it is a completely भौतिक thing, ना? As somebody is out of lust is saying something, but it was Mahabhav of Radharani, and that Mahabhav exactly Rupa Goswami is writing down. So Swarup Damodar Goswami says there is no surprise, because Rupa Goswami has completely received your mercy. He has received your mercy 100%. That is why he has understood your heart. तो उस टाइम पे ये, that is why this shloka Chaitanya, you understand the beginning. Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale. Manobishtam. Who understands the mind and heart of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? Only Rupa understands. Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale. And what is he do? What is he doing? He is doing the most difficult task of applying all of that for the common people of this world. And that is why we are Rupanugas. That is why Prabhupada said Rupanugas. Because what is Prabhupada done? Prabhupada has also done the same thing. That mood of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, that mood of Rupa Goswami, that mood of the six Goswamis, he established it in the external world, wherever. Right? Sri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale. Okay? So that is why Guru ko pranam, Rupa Goswami ko pranam. Okay? Right. Okay. So now coming to Upadeshaamrit. Right. तो थोड़ा लेट हो गया क्लास स्टार्ट करने में. So the first shloka describes the qualities of a pure devotee who is qualified to become guru. Second shloka क्या describe करता है? Second shloka. We discussed everything in the second shloka.
Qualities of the
We can just repeat the second shloka. अत्याहार प्रयासश्च प्रजल्पो नियमाग्रह जनसंगश्च लौल्यं च षड्भिर्भक्ते विनश्यति. Right? Shadbir Bhakti Vinashyati. 6 things that will destroy our devotion. Right? Atyahara Prayasascha Prajalpo Niyamagraha Janasangascha Laulyam cha Shadbir Bhakti Pranashyati. Vinashyati. It will destroy. So we discussed Atyahar means eating too much, collecting too much. Prayasascha means unnecessary endeavoring for name, fame, everything. Prajalpa is mundane talks, gossip, right? So Niyamagraha had two aspects. One is following the rules too strictly, so strictly that you will offend somebody, and taking the rules too lightly. Both are not to be done. Janasangascha means associating with materialistic people. Now, this is one thing that we need to understand. This question was asked to His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj, that in our own fields, it is not that when we deal with people, we are dealing only with devotees. In the outside world, like all of us, now Mayur is a skin specialist, Dhruti is a ophthalmologist, Samir is a dentist. You all have to go to the outside world, deal with so many people. तो जनसंघर्ष से तो होएगा ही ना. You have to associate, you have to do some business dealings, some dealings will happen only. So how can you avoid janasanghasya? It is not possible. तो कैसा, क्या करना क्या चाहिए? If you are too much associating with materialistic minded people, then our determination to perform devotion becomes weak. So how do we understand this principle? ऐसा नहीं है कि समाज में जाना ही नहीं है, समाज में तो जाना ही पड़ेगा ना.
So we can the
Mayur is saying something.
transactions which
Thoda
are
loudly.
so the necessary transaction जो भी है dealings है we should do, but we should not associate with them, as in we should not share our heart with them, and we should not what we say implicate their thoughts on us. To our goal should be to be in a devotees association, and these dealings we have to do on a professional basis, not to take it very personally.
Very good. Excellent. So जनसंघर्ष का मतलब ये है कि whatever personal connections are there, that should be limited to associating with devotees. So that is the right way of understanding that our dealings, when it is professional, should be only at a professional level. And when it comes to our personal level, our personal problems, our difficulties, our struggles in life, it is always best to take shelter of devotees, either devotees at our own level or devotees who are senior to us. And that will keep us in the safe net. Right? Very good. Perfect. And laulyam. Laulyam means greed. Greed for material activities. So laulyam comes both ways. Laulyam for Krishna is transcendental. That same laulyam, if it is there for material things, it is mundane. It will drag you down. So greed is one factor which can very verily be translocated. Greed hai, so let that greed be for Krishna. Let that greed be for association. Let that greed be for hearing, relishing the pastimes, or dancing in kirtan. That should be our greed. But if the greed is for money, name, fame, then that will pull us down. It will take us away. Right? So, one important factor that needs to be understood, and with that, then we will go to the next sloka. It's a very important thing that all sadhakas, we are all sadhakas. So, as sadhakas, overcoming these six principal things is going to be very difficult, because overcoming these six essentially means what? Anartha nivritti. Artha means whatever is necessary is artha, right? Whatever is useful is artha. Anartha means that which is negatively going to affect. Anartha. And then once you remove anartha, then artha can become paramartha, paramarth. अनर्थ को हटाना है तो परमार्थ को पा सकते हैं. अनर्थ को हटाएंगे तो परमार्थ को पा सकते हैं. राइट? सो अनर्थ को हटाना is the whole process. The first shloka is telling us what are the various hurdles, and these hurdles are nothing but our anarthas which will block us in various ways. So there are 4 stages in our own lives. We will come across these 4 stages. All of us go through these 4 stages, unless you're a pure devotee like Srila Prabhupada, और गोपाल कृष्ण गोस्वामी महाराज और राधानाथ स्वामी महाराज और जयप्रकाश स्वामी महाराज ऐसे ट्रांसेंडेंटल पर्सनालिटीज हैं तो अलग बात है, बट अदरवाइज all of us will go through these 4 stages. So the first stage is called the succumbing stage or the Vishaya Sangha. That means we know कि ज्यादा बाहर का खाना नहीं चाहिए, सिंपल कि बाहर पानी पूरी नहीं खाना चाहिए, लेकिन इतने सालों से पानी पूरी खाने की आदत है, वो निकलता नहीं। It is so much a challenge even to give up tea. चाय छोड़ना भी कितना मुश्किल पड़ता है ना? But it is all the process of devotion, giving up what is not necessary, है ना? अनुकूल्येन संकल्प प्रतिकूल्येन वर्जनम. So the 6 qualities that we discussed in the first, पहली बार जब हमने डिस्कस किया, राइट, कि शरणागति का 6 जो प्रिंसिपल्स है, तो उसमें प्रतिकूल्येन वर्जनम, you have to give up what is not necessary. So some people may be attached to chai, it may be cigarette, it may be so many things. There is the stage of succumbing. Now, these are real-time stories which we must know. So this was during the initial days of Radha Gopinath temple. Those days now, very few brahmacharis used to be there, and very few people would actually come for chanting or Mangal Aarti or whatever. This is early 90s, 1993, 94. So Mangal Aarti would start at 5, and there was this one person who would come for every Mangal Aarti, and he would be there during Mangal Aarti, and then जपा शुरू हो जाता था, थोड़ा जपा किया एंड देन गायब हो जाते थे, फिर 15-20 मिनट के बाद वापस आते थे, फिर साथ में बैठ के जपा नहीं करते थे, अलग अलग जाके जपा करते थे. So every day this used to be. For some time he would sit and chant, and then 15-20 मिनट के लिए गायब हो जाता था, फिर वापस आते थे, फिर साथ में बैठ के जपा नहीं करते थे, इधर उधर घूमते थे, फिर दर्शनार्थी होके निकल जाता था. So one of the brahmacharis, he felt कि ये कुछ तो गड़बड़ कर रहा लग रहा है, ये क्या गड़बड़ करता है, ये पता करना पड़ेगा. तो one day one of the brahmacharis followed this man कि ये पीछे पीछे गए और देखा कि एक्चुअली ये बंदा क्या कर रहा था कि जैसे ही 6 बज गया, देयर वाज वन पान का ठेला व्हिच वाज जस्ट ऑपोजिट, पान का ठेला व्हिच वाज जस्ट ऑपोजिट गोपीनाथ टेम्पल. थोड़ा इफ यू सी गोपीनाथ टेम्पल, दोस्तों हैव गॉन टू गोपीनाथ, वो उधर बहुत से पान के ठेले हैं ना, पहले भी थे. तो एक था जो 6 बजे खुलता था, 6 सवा 6 बजे. तो ये उधर जाता था, उधर से सिगरेट लेके सिगरेट पीता था और फिर आता था. 2-3 बार देखा ये ब्रह्मचारी ने, यार ये तो रोज सिगरेट पी रहा है. तो वन डे ना, he caught him and he said, what are you doing? You are सिगरेट पी के जपा करने के लिए आता है. So when the brahmachari chastised him, he started crying and he said, for 30 years, from the age of 16 I am smoking, 30 or 20 years, and I was such a chain smoker that एक सिगरेट निकला नहीं कि दूसरा सिगरेट को उधर ही जलाता था मैं, एक सिगरेट हुआ नहीं कि दूसरे को जलाता था मैं. That is how I used to, that is how my life was. Now after coming in the association of devotees, from smoking 10 to 15 packets per day, I have come to 2 packets per day. And वो road पे, he fell at his feet and he said, if you throw me out, I will again become a chain smoker. So this brahmachari, he actually fell down at his feet and said, please forgive my offense. Please forgive my offense for judging you. कि आपने जो किया है ना, आपकी जगह पे मैं होता तो कभी नहीं करता. If I was in your place, I wouldn't have been able to do this. So the point to be understood is, we cannot judge people by their external activities. So the brahmachari 4-5 दिन जो उनके पीछे पीछे गए, ये सिगरेट पी रहे, he, what is he thinking? ये तो 4 नियम का पालन नहीं कर रहा है, ये 4 नियम का पालन नहीं कर रहा है. बट इज इट दैट वो 4 नियम का पालन नहीं कर रहा था? इन वन वे यस, बट इन अ बिगर वे he was doing much more than just following the 4 regulative principles. Right? He was taking shelter of devotees, he was taking shelter of the holy name, and he was trying to overcome his own anarthas. So that is the first stage, the stage of succumbing. And this stage, for all of us, it may not be cigarette smoking, it may not be chai, it may be anything else. But whatever it is, as that devotee rightly said, that if I come out of the association of devotees, then I will become a chain smoker again. मेरा पतन हो जाएगा, मैं जानता हूं. So in our own lives, we should know that this stage will come, and this stage in the association of devotees, we will cross over. Now I have a simple question for all of you. How many of you know of the 10 offenses to the holy name? All of you know 10 offenses to the holy name?
Yes.
Yes. So what are the 10 offenses? Each, I think there are 10 people here. Each one of us can say one. पहले प्राची मैडम पहले बोलेंगी. First offense, the holy name. Anyone? One offense to the holy name.
So Vaishnav Ninda.
Vaishnav Ninda, very good. That is the first offense. To offend a devotee of a pure devotee of the Lord, who is engaged in always propagating the holy name of the Lord. Offending such a devotee is the greatest offense against the holy name. Okay, first offense. Second offense,
Using God's name to curse people, or
sorry,
using God's name, I mean Lord's name to curse people or do something bad. क्या बोलते हैं उसको? आपने बताया.
using God's name to
To frighten people or
ऐसे अगर किया तो ऐसे होगा, भगवान ऐसे करेगा।
So that is to give some mundane interpretation to the holy name of the Lord. The holy name is not mundane कि ये करने से ये करोगा, ये होने से वो होगा. It is not mundane and it is not कर्म कांड कि आप हरिनाम 10 हरिनाम ले लो तो आपका ये पाप धुल जाएगा. आप 2 दिन हरिनाम कर लो तो आपके बेटे का एग्जाम पास हो जाएगा. All that is karma kand. So that is not harinam, right? Okay. Next, 3 हो गए. Sorry. नहीं, that is not directly an offense to the holy name. There are 10 offenses.
To
10
chant
offenses.
Lord's name, chant the holy name inattentively.
Very good. To chant the holy names inattentively. That's the 10th offense.
Disobey Guru. Disobeying of Guru.
Huh?
Disobeying of Guru's order.
Yes, that is the 3rd offense. To disobey the orders of the spiritual master. Second offense. हाँ, निंदा नहीं करना हो तो डॉक्टर भाग्यश्री ने बोल दिया. फर्स्ट ऑफेंस हो गया वो.
To consider demigods equal to or independent from the Lord Vishnu.
To consider
Demigods equal to Lord
yes,
Vishnu.
to consider even the names of Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva to be equal or independent of the names of Lord Krishna. That is an offense. That is an offense.
Someone who does not want to take God's name and forcing that person or compelling the instructions
To
on
preach
him.
the glories of the holy name to an atheistic person. Somebody who is atheistic, उसको कभी holy name का glories नहीं बताने का. Very good. There is a 7th offense, and that 7th offense is to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name of the Lord. पाप काम करना, पाप करना. Now my question, why did I ask you this? My question is, this person who was a smoker, chain smoker, and he's still smoking, he is actually smoking na, and he's chanting. So is he committing the 7th offense or not? Is he committing the 7th offense or not?
No, sir.
Huh?
No.
Why do you say no? Oh, smoking
Because
is
he is trying to improve himself.
okay, very good. One aspect is correct.
One more
That at least
aspect.
he was.
Earlier he was a chain smoker, now he has come down, so he's trying to improve himself. That point is agreed.
If he would have misused the holy name कि हाँ चलो सिगरेट पी लेता हूँ और
Sorry,
मार्केट कर लूँगा.
जोर से बोलिए, मयूर सुनाई नहीं देता है.
So if the intention behind smoking and doing japa was to counteract के इसको ऐसा balance कर लेंगे, then that would have been wrong.
Very good, very good. Exactly. So he was chanting not to counter the sin committed by smoking. He was not chanting to counter that sin. He was chanting because he knew that by chanting, his desire to smoke will end. He knew that by chanting, जपा करने से मेरे हृदय की शुद्धिकरण होगी और ये हृदय साफ हो जाएगा तो धीमे धीमे ये निकल जाएगा. That mind state is what the Lord is looking at. The Lord is not looking at your efforts only. He is looking first at your intent. What is your intention behind doing your japa? Is your intention of doing japa to you will commit sinful activities? और मैं हरिनाम ले रहा हूँ तो वो सब पाप धुल रहे. मेरा सब पाप धुल रहा है, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। अभी मैं जाके ये सब बिजनेस में घोटाला करेगा, उसमें कोई टेंशन नहीं है, क्योंकि मैं हरि नाम कर रहा हूं, तो मेरा सब पाप धुलेगा. If that is the intent, then that is offensive chanting. But if the intent is Krishna, please help me, oh devotees of the Lord, please help me, I am in a bad situation, help me to come out. If that is the situation, then like Krishna gave his hand to Bilva Mangal Thakur to come out of that ditch, Krishna will give each one of us his hand to come out of the ditch in which we are. Right? This point is clear. It is our intent. Krishna is looking at intent. Bhavagrahi Janardana. है ना? This is a very famous shloka. What is that shloka? धीरो वदति वैष्णवे मूर्खो वदति वैष्णाय उभयोस्तु समम पुण्यम भावग्राही जनार्दन. So the intelligent Brahmana is chanting the right mantra, Om Vaishnave Namaha. But the fool, the so-called, not fool, but the so-called अनपढ़, जिसको वेदों का ज्ञान नहीं है, वो क्या बोल रहा है? ओम वैष्णाय नमः. So what is Narad Muni saying? Ubayostu samam punyam. Oh my dear, ubayostu samam punyam. Both of them are getting the same benefit. Why? भावग्राही जनार्दन. जनार्दन को वो कौन सा मंत्र बोल रहा है उससे कोई लेना देना नहीं है. भाव ग्राही जनार्दन. Krishna is looking at the intent. Right? Okay. Thank you. So this is the stage of succumbing. First stage is succumbing. Next stage is dovetailing. Now what is the stage of dovetailing? Dovetailing is very simple. गुरु ने एक आज्ञा दिया है, उस आज्ञा का मैं अपनी क्षमता से पालन करूंगा. Like all of us are working in Bhaktivedanta Hospital, right? And it is Gurudev's project. So I give my 100% as a doctor, as a technician, as a whatever, कि I will give my 100% in doing my service. So that is dovetailing whatever I have, positive, whatever is my strong points. My knowledge is my strong point. That I will dovetail for Guru and Krishna. My skills are my strong point. I will dovetail that for Guru and Krishna. So, in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says very clearly, right, that wait, what is that? How does it start?
करोषि यदाश्नासि.
Yes. Yat karoshi yadashnashi, yat joshi dadashi yat, yat tapasyasi tu kauntaya tad kurushva madarpanam. Right? Very famous shloka. Thank you, Samir. So, this is the process of dovetailing. जो भी कर रहा हूं मैं, यद करोशी यद अश्नाशी, whatever it is, I will do it as a service to Krishna. That is the stage of dovetailing. It's a very high stage, actually. वैसे देखा जाए तो 99.9% people have no idea of what is dovetailing. The process of dovetailing starts only after you have the intent to serve. जब हम इच्छा करेंगे सेवा करने की, तब dovetailing हो सकता है. The classical example is Barsanai camp. है ना? Classical example is Barsanai camp. Whether you are a doctor, you are a helper, or you're a businessman in London. Once you come to Barsanai camp, everybody is serving. Let me dovetail whatever I have in the service of Guru and Radharani. Right? That's a classical example of dovetailing, which in itself is a very, very, very high stage. Now, higher than dovetailing is Yukta Vairagya. Now, what is Yukta Vairagya? Now, please understand, when it comes to Atyahara, Prayasascha, all these 6 that are there, all of these will go through these 4 stages. Whether some will have the propensity of Atyahara, just collect, मेरे को ये भी चाहिए, मेरे को वो भी चाहिए, मेरे को घर भी चाहिए, मेरे को पैसा भी चाहिए. तो उसको डाउटेल कैसे करने का? ठीक है, पैसा आ गया ना, अभी डोनेट करो महाराज के मिशन में, इसमें उसमें, वो डाउटेलिंग हो जाता है. ठीक है ना? पैसा कमाने का ना, कमा. गाड़ी लेने का ना, ठीक है, बड़ी गाड़ी लेने का. तो हमारे एक राधापति प्रभु हैं, श्रीनाथ, यू मस्ट हैव हर्ड ऑफ श्रीनाथ स्वीट्स. सो ही हैड दिस फ्लेयर कि आई विल हैव, ऐसा इतना बड़ा बिजनेस कर दूंगा कि आई विल हैव द बेस्ट BMW गाड़ी. तो बराबर बेस्ट BMW गाड़ी खरीदा उसने. फिर उसके पापा ने क्या बोला, BMW खरीदना है ना, ठीक है, जब महाराज जाएंगे तो गाड़ी तू नहीं चलाएगा, महाराज के लिए चलना चाहिए. तो बोला ठीक है. सो दैट इज डाउटेलिंग. ठीक है ना, इच्छा है ना बड़ी गाड़ी खरीदने का, बहुत मेहनत करके बहुत पैसा कमाया, बेस्ट गाड़ी खरीदा. फिर वो क्या किया, 4 महीने जब महाराज रहते तो मैं नहीं चलाऊंगा महाराज के लिए. सो व्हाट हैपेंस इज, your propensity is there, but that propensity has gone in the service of Guru. So then Krishna purifies. Tad kurushva mad arpanam. Mad arpanam, वो अर्पण हो गया ना, like that. So what is yukta vairagya? Yukta vairagya means what I don't like, वो भी मैं करूंगा for the pleasure of Guru and Krishna. Now this is a big challenge. See, whatever I have, whatever I like, वो मैं करूंगा गुरु और कृष्ण के लिए. कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है, मुझे आनंद आता है ये करने में, तो मैं करता रहूंगा, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है. लेकिन कुछ चीजों में मुझे आनंद ही नहीं है. आई हैव नो इंक्लिनेशन, बट नाउ आई हैव टू डू इट. That is a very high stage. Very high stage. And that stage is almost at the stage of sannyas. Yukta Vairagya. Now, understanding Yukta Vairagya is little difficult because, see, doubting is very simple because all of us are grastas, we are all earning money, we are all doing things. So we have all been to Barsanai camp, ye wo. So understanding doubting is not very difficult. है ना? I am good at this, I do it for Krishna. I am good at this, I do it for Krishna. Fine enough. I am not good at something. I cannot do something. But still, Guru has ordered. I have to do. I give you a very classical example. And this is how Prabhupada trained his disciples. And it is this commitment of the disciples of Srila Prabhupada that made ISKCON what it is today. So we know that during the initial years in 1969, for the first time, three couples, 6 members who were just 1 year old in Krishna consciousness, they were sent to London to preach. आप सबको ये पता है ना? How many of you know of this? Raise your hand. How many of you know of this? किसी को पता नहीं है? रितेश को पता है और किसी को पता नहीं है? Really? Oh my God. मतलब अभी तक मैंने ये स्टोरी किसी को बताया नहीं? आपने अभी तक किसी से सुना नहीं? Oh, okay. So you must all know that, see, when Prabhupada reached America, if you backdate, Prabhupada grew up in a time when London, Britain, was supposed to be the helm of the world, the peak of the world. Britain would rule the entire world practically from 18, 1840, 50s till the First World War. Almost a century, Britain was on the top of the world. And they would say that also. British would say, the sun never sets on the horizon of London. Matlab, we are the most glorious because they had colonies all over. India was completely under the control of British. And it was during this time that Prabhupada actually grew. Prabhupada का schooling ये वो सब उसी time पे हुआ. Of course, फिर 1945 में Second World War हुआ, independence हो गया, then things changed. British का पूरा power चला गया नीचे and America picked up. That's a different thing. But Prabhupada grew during these years. British. So when Prabhupada went to America, Prabhupada always had this in his mind that British should be made Krishna conscious. The British should be made Krishna conscious. So he sent his foremost 6 disciples. You know the names? You should know them. See, as Prabhupada Anugas, that means followers of Prabhupada, ये जानना बहुत जरूरी है. क्यों? क्योंकि this vision of Prabhupada and the surrender of these disciples of Prabhupada is something you can't even think of. मतलब, you have to actually read Shyam Sundar Prabhu's book, the Chasing the Rhinos. वो बुक पढ़ेंगे ना तो हमको एक्चुअली समझ में आएगा कि what is the glory of Prabhupada and what is the glory of his disciples. So there were six people, 3 couples basically. Shyam Sundar Prabhu and Malti Mataji, Mukund Goswami, that time he was Mukund Prabhu, and Janki Mataji, and Gurudas Prabhu and Yamuna Mataji. Okay, so everybody knows Yamuna Mataji, I think. How many of you at least know Yamuna Mataji? Hands raise करो. यमुना माताजी को कितने लोग जानते हैं? Yes, सब लोग जानते हैं. How do you know Yamuna Mataji? The whole of ISKCON knows Yamuna Mataji. Why? Because every Shringar Darshan, when the darshan opens, what do you hear? Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Vajami. Who is singing this? Who is singing this?
Yamuna Mataji.
It is Yamuna Mataji's voice. recorded by none other than George Harrison. Right? So, and this is going to be there for at least another 10,000 years. That this voice will be heard by people across the globe when the Shringar Darshan opens. So, these 6 people were sent to London with practically no money, nothing, and they had one instruction: you have to establish Krishna consciousness and build temples in London. And in this effort, they were staying, and when they reached, of course, Malti Mataji had one daughter also, Saraswati, who was just, you know how old? Not 3 years, 3 months. Can you beat it? 3 months. And for the first few days, they would be sleeping on cardboard sheets in a godown in London. Opposite the railway track, there was some godown. उसमें कार्डबोर्ड शीट्स बिछा के सोते थे. ये उनका शुरुआत के दिन थे. And in the process, Shyam Sundar Prabhu somehow got in touch with George Harrison. He made friendship with George Harrison. And as George Harrison came to know about the Hare Krishnas, he actually got so much attached, because one thing he knew for sure, George Harrison knew for sure, that these people have not come to exploit me. Because नहीं तो उनके साथ जो भी आते थे, जो भी उनके फ्रेंड सर्कल या जो भी थे, they were all behind his name or his money. They all wanted to be associated with George Harrison because George Harrison is very famous, or because George Harrison had a lot of money. But he knew for sure that the Hare Krishnas, they are not interested in his money, they are not interested in his name. They are just interested in him because he sings well and they sing well. So it was only music which was the bond. And this is why George Harrison really liked the Hare Krishnas. Now, 1971, Prabhupada writes the Krishna book. The Krishna book is complete, but he needs a huge sum of money to print it. So what does Prabhupada tell Shyam Sundar Prabhu? You go to George and ask him for money. Now, Shyam Sundar Prabhu knew very well that I am not George Harrison's friend for his money. He had no intention to ask that money also. But order from Krishna, order from Gurudev. So this pastime is very well mentioned in that book, Chasing the Rhinos. As Shyam Sundar goes to meet George Harrison that evening, his head is down, he's looking sad, and George Harrison looks at him and says, "What's the matter? What is the problem?" And it is evening time, and Shyam Sundar Prabhu describes what is Prabhupada doing and says that the book is complete and now we need money to publish and print the book. So I've actually come here to ask for money. So जैसे ही वो बोलते हैं ना, I've come here to ask for money, तो जॉर्ज हैरिसन का पूरा मुंह पूरा उतर जाता है. He feels completely saddened. But at that very time, जैसे out of the blue पूरा अंधकार छा जाता है. उनका बड़ा सा बंगलो है, वो पूरा बंगलो का इलेक्ट्रिसिटी पूरा चला जाता है. It is complete darkness. For 10 minutes, it's complete darkness. Then suddenly the lights come on. And George Harrison, he says with a big smile on his face that it is, he makes a very beautiful statement that uh, I think it is perfection of my life or something to donate for uh, such a wonderful event or something like that. And he actually gives something like 18,000 pounds. So huge money, huge amount of money. And if you even now, if you open the Krishna book, the foreword is written by George Harrison. The first line of the foreword is everybody is looking for Krishna. And these are George Harrison's words. And George Harrison, his fame is like, you add up the fame of Amitabh Bachchan and Shah Rukh Khan and all the Khans, you add that up and you multiply that by 100. You add the fame of all these superstars and you multiply it by 100. That is how famous George Harrison was. Matlab, he would come out of his car, no, and there would be ऐसा hundreds of people ready to pounce on him. ऐसा security लगा रहता था just to hold people back from pouncing on him. इतने लोग पागल थे. And when the Beatles would sing, people would actually fall unconscious. People would actually fall unconscious. ऐसा मजाक नहीं, actual है. That was how famous they were. And even now, even His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj also says that the first music or the first time most devotees who came into Krishna consciousness, they came hearing the melodies sung by George Harrison. My Sweet Lord, the Hare Krishna Dhun, which was all composed by George Harrison in his theater. So George Harrison was a very prominent principal preacher, actually, right hand of Prabhupada. Although Prabhupada didn't officially initiate him and make him his disciple, although George Harrison once approached Prabhupada and said, I want to become your disciple. I want to shave my head and become a brahmachari. So Prabhupada said, why do you want initiation? You're already Hari's son. Hari's son. So Prabhupada said, you're already initiated. Why do you want initiation from me? And Prabhupada said, you just continue doing what you're doing. By doing what you're doing, you will preach much more than becoming a brahmachari in ISKCON. And he did. He really did so much. He really did so much. And if you see the way George Harrison left his body, His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj gives a beautiful lecture. Actually, his house would overlook the ISKCON temple, and he could actually have darshan of the lordships. And actually, I said, uh, I'm not sure the details, but श्याम सुंदर प्रभु बहुत सुंदर बताते हैं of how taking darshan of the lordships he actually left his body with Shyam Sundar Prabhu chanting for him by his bedside. So of course this is something that every ISKCON devotee must know. If you are a follower of Prabhupada, you must know of this. Why Prabhupada sent his primary principal disciples to London? Because for Prabhupada, British was like ब्रिटिश को कृष्णा कॉन्शियस बनाना है और ब्रिटेन को कृष्णा कॉन्शियस बनाया ये 6 डिसाइपल्स ने और जॉर्ज हैरिसन ने. एक्चुअली practically the whole of Europe. जिधर भी प्रचार हुआ, after that, after 1971, temple started opening. ऐसा हर हफ्ता एक टेम्पल किधर तो खुल रहा है, किधर तो खुल रहा है, सेंटर खुल रहा है, ये खुल रहा है. It spread like wildfire after the Beatles started singing the melodies of Hare Krishna. It was like wildfire. So that is the stage of Yukta Vairagya. Yukta Vairagya means when even things that we do not like, we do not want to do, like Shyam Sundar Prabhu did not want to ask for money, but he still did it. He still did it. And because he did it, Krishna book was published. And for the next 10,000 years, he will be glorified for doing that activity in the service of Guru and Krishna. So from the stage of Yad Karoshi Yad Ashnashi, Yad Joshi Dashi Yad, that is the stage of doubtailing, you go one step higher, that is Yukta Vairagya. So our journey from in the 9 stages of bhakti, Ado Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sangha Bhajana Kriya Anartha Nivritti. This Anartha Nivritti comes when we somewhere close we have reached the stage of Yukta Vairagya. So everybody, before starting our journey, we are all Atyahara, we are all doing Prajalpa in some way, we are all doing Niyamagraha, whatever, in some way. But during our journey, in our process, at some stage we'll be succumbing, like that devotee who was trying to quit smoking, right? We'll all succumb, but you succumb, you get up, be in the association, pray to Krishna, and keep moving forward. And that that battle is what pleases Krishna. That struggle is what pleases Krishna. Bhavagrahi Janardana. It is not how pure you are, but it is the struggle through which you go that pleases Krishna. It is that bhav that is pleasing Krishna. And it is that bhav that we all have to imbibe. We have to take that bhav of struggling to show Krishna that Krishna, we are struggling. We are struggling. We want to be your devotee. We are struggling. And in that stage, from succumbing, we'll come to the stage of doubttailing. From the stage of doubttailing, then everything we do, whatever we like, whatever we don't like, everything, Gurudev is for you and for Krishna, nothing else. And once you come to that stage of Yukta Vairagya, then these 6, Prajalpa, Niyamagraha, uh, Laulyam, all these things get transformed. They get transformed. And then whatever we are doing is only in the positive direction. There is no negative pull. There's nothing pulling us back. There's nothing pulling us back. Everything we do is smooth flow. When you have Nishta, then you have Asakti, then you have Ruchi. So many times the question arises, मैं इतने साल से कर रहा हूँ यार, मेरे को टेस्ट ही नहीं है. ऐसा लगता ही नहीं है कि मैं हरि नाम कर सकता हूँ. 1 second, I'll just take this call. सुनाई दे रहा है ना? Okay. So, where was I? What was I saying? What was I saying? Doubtailing Yukta Vairagya. Barabar. So, our journey will go through these stages. And we have to go, all of us have to go through these stages. Okay? So, what should our conscious effort be? Our conscious effort is to always introspect. Ki, how far have I reached in in whatever has been my what do you say, whatever is holding me back of these six items, whatever is holding me back, that is what we have to look at. And if we are able to somehow or the other, from the stage of succumbing to the stage of doubting to the stage of yukta vairagya, that should be our process. And if that happens, then the fourth stage is spontaneous devotional service. Spontaneous devotional service means from Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, you are going into raganuga bhakti. It is sadhana bhakti only, but it is raganuga. Raganuga means spontaneous. आपको एफर्ट डालना नहीं है जपा करने के लिए. सुबह उठ के अरे माला उठा के जपा करना है, वो इतना स्पॉन्टेनियस हो जाता है कि कॉन्शियसली अनकॉन्शियसली यू आर चैंटिंग ओनली. योर टेस्ट फॉर रीडिंग द बुक्स इज सो मच दैट और कुछ नहीं है तो बुक पढ़ रहे हैं. Whenever you have free time, you are reading or you are chanting. Not a single moment is lost. That is spontaneous devotional service. You don't need a push. है ना? जैसे ये क्या बोलते हैं उसको, वो क्रिकेट सीरीज आता है ना, T20, तो कितने ही लोग हैं, वो T20 शुरू होता है तो बोलना नहीं पड़ता, अरे यार आज इसका मैच है, उसका मैच है. दे आर सो मच इन फ्लो दैट बाबा ये टाइम पे इसका और इसका मैच है, इसका इतना पॉइंट है, उसका इतना पॉइंट है. सो मेनी पीपल आर सो इतना डूबे हुए हैं उसमें. वाई? बिकॉज उसमें उतनी रुचि है उनको. तो जब वो रुचि, दैट टेस्ट इज ट्रांसफर्ड ऑन कृष्णा, तो वैसे ही रुचि आ जाएगी. But the problem is for so many lifetimes we have been doing negative things only. तो फिर कहाँ से वो रुचि इतनी जल्दी आएगी? It is going to take time for that ruchi to come, for that taste to come, for that asakti to come. It is going to take time. And we just have to be patient. Like that devotee who was going out to smoke 2 cigarettes. He was patient कि मैं जानता हूँ कि ये निकल जाएगा. It is just a matter of time. So we have to be patient with ourselves. So in the next few shlokas, we will see what are the things that we have to imbibe so that we will progress in devotion. These are the things that we have to quit. ये छोड़ना है, तो ये छोड़ना है तो पकड़ना किसको है, वो हम आगे के इसमें देखेंगे. So any questions? Any questions? I hope you understood these 4 stages. Right? What are the 4 stages? First stage of succumbing. Second stage of
Downhill.
doubting. Third stage of yukta vairagya. And fourth stage
spontaneous.
Spontaneous. मतलब you don't need any push. You are going to push others. आपको push की जरूरत नहीं है. आप all the time उसी stage में हो. Of course, that's a very very high stage. Very high stage. डाउटेलिंग से युक्त वैराग्य में आना ही, पहले सकम्बिंग से डाउटेलिंग में आना ही एक बड़ा चैलेंज है. बट इट इज पॉसिबल एंड इट विल हैपन. वी नीड टू हैव फेथ. यस, एनी क्वेश्चंस? Any questions? Bhagyashree is asking question.
No.
Haribol? Can't hear. सुनाई नहीं दे.
Nothing, sir, nothing.
Nothing. Okay. Any questions from anybody? So we have just completed 2 shlokas. Then धीमे धीमे जाएंगे हम आगे. I'm not rushing through these because ये बहुत ये समझना जरूरी है. ये श्लोका तो सिर्फ there are only 11 shlokas, but Upadeshaamrit is something that once you understand, then it is like the 700 shlokas of the Bhagavad Gita. All that what we say clinical application, तो वो practical clinical application है ये 11 श्लोक में. So ये समझ गए मतलब और कुछ समझने की जरूरत नहीं है. You can practice devotional service just by understanding this much. Your practice will be proper. ठीक है. If there are no questions, then thank you very much. वांछा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यो पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव भक्तवृंद की जय. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. हरि बोल. Thank you.
Thank you,
जय
sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.